Welcome to Module 11, Analyzing Data with Business Intelligence. Now in this course, this is the most complicated module that we're going to do because there's a lot of new concepts that we're going to bring in. But that's not a problem, don't worry about it. We're going to go through it slowly. We're going to talk about all the different pieces. We're going to look at extending our knowledge of Excel by connecting to outside data sources like databases. And before we get into what's this module, I want to tell you a quick story about my friend. My friend decided to make an app that checks if we can go surfing or not. Now, in order to find that out, you have to bring in a whole bunch of different kinds of information from the internet. So first we start, where are you? Is there a beach there or not? Is it light outside? Because you need to have light to go surfing. That's a good idea. What are the wind, wave, temperatures like? What's the height, the speed of the wind, temperatures, and so on. So once we know all those things, we can bring them in. Then we could write an easy Excel formula that says, if this item, if it's daylight, and if this thing, and if that thing, then say go surfing, right? So you could really see how quickly we could take different kinds of information from the internet, bring it in, and then do things with it in Excel. Just like if I said, this is the price of the Canadian dollar versus the US dollar, and as soon as it changes a different point, I want you to use conditional formatting and pop up buy or sell or hold, right? Based on those conditions. So we can create systems to check the prices of stocks, or we could check the prices of many other things that are updating in real time, right? If we have a service that does, let's say, taxis, as soon as we know it's going to be raining, maybe our taxi usage is going to go up. We could build that into our formula. So in 11.1, we're going to talk about using Query Editor. Query Editor is a graphical way to design queries, which are going to write the computer code for us and bring in data. We're going to talk about creating and editing that kind of query, and we're going to talk about creating trending and forecasting. So we have data, it could be seasonal, it could be something else, and we're going to look at what are the trends within the data and how can we extrapolate it into the future, of course, cautiously, because you never know what will happen in the future. But we could have a really indication based on past performance. In 11.2, we're going to talk about connecting Excel to a database, and we're going to talk about using data model and Power Pivot. So data model is the map, the conceptual map of how the data fits together. And Power Pivot is based on those models, how we could bring together data from many different places to all play nicely together and work together to give us really cool answers. Finally, we're going to look at constructing a pivot table based on data tables from different databases, different sheets, or comma separate value sheets. So this is when we get into the really complicated stuff of how to build really large-scale data analysis. In 11.3, we're going to create a data hierarchy so we can connect to certain pieces of data and tell Excel which ones are more important than others. In other words, wrap pieces of data inside of each other. We're going to create a drill down field so you can go deeper and deeper into the data, getting more and more information. We're going to explore the data with Power View, which is basically an automatic way to create dashboards. Instead of us creating each chart, they're sort of drag and drop charts using our database data. And then finally, we're going to visualize data using Power Map. We're going to take our data, especially if it's location-based, we're going to drop that onto the map, and then giving it different parameters, we could find all sorts of new and interesting relationships inside the data based on the map. For example, which store sells to where, what area has the most sales, and maybe come up with some solutions on how can we do a better job? What can we sell more of? What's working right now? What could work better? So I hope you find this chapter interesting. There's a lot of stuff in it, but ultimately the answers you're going to get for it are really, really powerful.